You guys are in for some fun tonight. My name's Stephen Davey. I'm the senior producer here at CitySpace. Welcome to a very fun night. Welcome to our virtual audiences. Thank you all for coming. In the depths of the pandemic, yes, that's not that long ago, when Boston University student Julian Shapiro-Barnum needed both a little therapy and a thesis project. Anyone relate? With a mic in hand and a video camera rolling nearby, Julian had the idea to interview some kids. Excuse me, in what became priceless conversations for his hit web series Recess Therapy. Who here has seen the viral Corn Kid video and not? Yes, okay. It's so good. Recess Therapy demonstrates the incredible wisdom, keen observations, and often hilarious insights of children. Tonight, we're all going to get a little bit of therapy. Leading us on the journey is WBUR's Ben Brock Johnson, co-host of our Endless Thread podcast. And we want to hear from you. If you have questions, head again to Slido, sli.do, enter recess, and we'll get to as many audience questions as we can. Now, please put your hands together for Ben and Julian Shapiro-Barnum.
Hello.
How's it going? You
Yeah.
guys all right? All right. Lively crowd. I have they give me the secret messages in this thing in my ear, but I have to carry it with me. Welcome, Julie.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. Right. How was your trip up? You told me a little bit about it.
Yeah. So Charlotte, who I make the show with, and
Charlotte, everyone?
Charlotte, we bought tickets for the wrong day. And then they were really chill about it. They didn't.
A surprise, no?
I went in and I played it off. I was like, she saw me. I bought it for today, right? And they were like, you didn't. And I was like, I was like insinuating that like they messed up.
Fair.
And it was fine. Yeah.
It's always good to have a witness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they can't question her.
That's right.
And you had your own travel issues today?
Yeah, well, I just mostly like making radio script issues, but you know, I got here. It was a nice. Travel's hard, man.
That's what we're here to talk about.
Travel. Tonight is a travel show.
Anyone ever been in a car before?
Give us some recent background. I know, like, everyone here, I would imagine, knows who you are and sort of your rise to fame as having a hit web series, which I feel like we should talk about how you feel about that descriptor later in this strange media landscape that we live in. But give us some recent background. How did you go from being like a BFA student at BU to an Instagram star? And you can answer this in the average length of an Instagram Reels video from recent.
Yeah, all right, a minute.
Yeah.
So I was a student there with some of the people in this room, and it was 2021, and I was making a ton of videos because class wasn't so much of a thing, and we'd spend 8 hours in front of Zoom, and then at the end of the day, I felt like I needed to express myself in some ways, so I was making like a lot of interview videos because that was like the only thing that was making me happy. Was like going out and talking to people and sharing in that. And then my senior project, one of the prompts was to do something inspired by people out in the world.
Okay.
And my outlet had been going to the park and getting out from behind my computer screen. And I was always seeing these kids who were in the exact same situation as me. Like they were also in Zoom school. They were also playing Roblox. Well, no, I wasn't playing Roblox, but I wasn't. But they were like, they were in this very similar situation, but they were still having so much fun and playing and like thoroughly enjoying themselves.
And they were like, "What's up?" And you were like, "What's up?"
Yeah, and we just we just mind melded. No, and Charlotte was in the playground, and I called her, and I was like, "Are there kids there?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Just make sure they don't go anywhere." I was like, "Just stay with the kids." I was like, "I'm gonna get my camera," and she was like, "Okay." And I got my camera, and we did like, is this too long-winded?
No, this is great. You're doing great.
And we did like 25 minutes. Like we really just like talked to like 6 kids. And it was awesome. And they had really insightful things to say, like about happiness and like how it's unrealistic to expect yourself to be happy all the time. And I walked away and I felt happy after Googling anhedonia, which is the inability to experience pleasure.
Whoa.
I was like, nothing's working for me. And I had so much fun, and I like really enjoyed myself. And I was like, there's something really beautiful here.
Did you learn that word from a kid?
And yes. No,
Really?
No, I learned that word
I was
from
like, man, that'd be a smart kid. That's amazing.
it was a New York Times article. I like really struck me, and it was like, it's been a year since the pandemic and none of us enjoy anything anymore. And I was like, none of us. Me too.
Fair. Yeah. When in your recent sort of oeuvre do you feel like you hit your stride?
My stride?
Yeah. Like when did sort of this thing that started while you were here kind of coalesce?
It took a while. I mean, we go to the park and we go up to strangers and we asked if we can talk to their kids about like cursing or death or like, I don't know, like all sorts of random stuff. And
they were like, sure, absolutely.
Yeah. And no, most times people don't want us to do it.
Yeah.
And that's fine and reasonable. And I think it took a really long time to get past that feeling like a huge hurdle.
Which was fundamentally the adults.
Yeah, the adults. There's two issues with the adults where, not issues, but there's 2 things that happen. Is either the adults are really not okay with their kid doing it, which is fine, or the other one, which is the adults really want their kid to do it, but the kid does not want to do it. And that's always really uncomfortable, where I'm like, you're like, it's okay. Like we're just gonna sit here and I'm gonna do it. And then you're gonna go have a good day. But I'd say like honestly, maybe even this fall, it got to this point where we were just like, because we also do this with our friend Julia, who's also a CFA alum. And we were having so much fun with it. And then of course the winter comes and it becomes a whole challenge once again. But yeah, I'd say it took like a year plus to feel like we were comfortable.
I'm going to break format just a tiny bit and play something for y'all, or ask for something to be played in a different order that we had planned. So what do you think, Adam? Can we do that? All right. All right. Thumbs up. So I kind of want to go back, and so you're talking about this origin story. So I want to go back to that. And you gave us tape of your first time doing what would become recess therapy.
Are you showing the tape or me talking about not knowing what I'm doing?
I think
it's the actual episode.
I think it's the actual episode. It's apparently. Okay, so I guess we're gonna do some bloopers first.
Oh, is that? Do you have that too?
We've got that too. We've got a lot of stuff. We're getting through a lot of stuff tonight. So let's hear the bloopers, some bloopers as you're sort of getting your sea legs.
This is the rawest thing ever. This is like. What do I say?
Like.
Recently, I've been feeling really unhappy. So I thought I'd ask some kids what stuff is.
Yeah. What they.
Recently, I've been feeling really unhappy.
So I thought I'd get some.
I've been feeling like I'm really in a rut. I decided to. Sorry. Wait, watch. This guy catches this ball so well.
Get some advice.
Yeah, I decided it's time to get help. So I went out to the playground. Really long-winded.
Yeah.
And good mic placement.
Yeah. The mic's not even off. The camera
super windy.
This is like a 5 minute. I feel like we don't need one. Recently, I've been feeling Recently, I've been feeling incredibly sad and having a
I
really
feel
hard
like we
time.
should watch the whole thing.
And
I
I
don't
came to
know.
a point where I think I
No, I think we
and I say, is this so I took to the playground to ask for some advice.
we could probably go. Yeah.
Should we do another one?
Yeah.
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 That was us.
Yeah.
And we were like, what are
Yeah. Woo, for bloopers.
And now I do it every single weekend, and it's just as bad when we're trying to figure out what I should say.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a minute, right, to figure it out.
Well, yeah, we like didn't know. Like I didn't think this was going to become a career thing.
Right.
Like, this was something. Well, wait. So I just did a thing across the street at. They interviewed me for like an alumni video, and they were like, "What's? Is this too off topic?"
No, I'm just excited to hear about. I'm excited to hear. Please go.
And I went, I love BU, and I went on and on about BU, and then they were like, "What? Like, what's something you want like students to hear or something?" And I was just saying like, just like make as much stuff as possible and like don't worry about it like being the thing or working. Like I was making so much nonsense and just enjoying the act of making it, and like the idea of like this just wasn't like in the cards. Like this happened, and I think maybe because I was just having fun with it, and I think that's a luxury that being in college kind of affords. Like what
Sure.
Like I haven't made a lot of other stuff post grad just because getting everyone in a room together is very hard.
Yeah.
But I've made this every weekend. Yeah.
That's how I feel like that's how a lot of hopefully successful and like creative art starts, right? It's
Yeah.
like, you're just like making it to make it, and you love it and you have fun, and that translates. Clearly, you were having fun in that last video.
I mean, I think the funny thing, and like I've watched this a couple times recently just because I dug it up.
Every night before bed, you watch
Every
it.
night before bed.
Yeah.
So, I remember where you once were. But like, I'm like, my whole tone has really changed. Like and I guess we have it, but like in the first video, like I'm not being that positive. Like I'm kind of, I wouldn't say like the kids are the butt of the jokes, but like
Right.
it's like a little bit, like it's really like developed into a whole thing that it wasn't.
Right. You're like, what's up?
Yeah, it was just like more chill.
Fair. Let's
More laid back.
can we do that? Can we play that example from the early days?
It's now been over a year since COVID's been around, and I've been feeling incredibly down recently. And I knew I needed to talk to someone, so I went to the playground. What about you, my friend? What's been making you happy?
Love.
Love.
I like love because it makes me happy.
That's so wonderful. If you're in a bad mood, what do you do to get out of it?
Well, sometimes I just sit in a place and then I feel better.
So just sitting absolutely still,
Yeah,
not moving at all?
yeah,
Solipsism?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you had any advice for me for when I'm in a bad mood, what would you say?
Just do what I do.
Nothing?
Yeah.
That's pretty helpful.
That's great. So I'd like to ask you to do a critique.
Oh, yes, I've heard about this.
So we both interview people, for a living. And I interviewed a thing that we say in creating audio is like, kids are great because you always, you may feel differently about this, but I feel like when we're making radio or podcasts, and you'll have better answers about this, but kids it's just great. You always get strong tape. I feel like the kids have like interesting things to say. They're real. They're present. They often like don't go on too long.
Or you can cut them off and not feel bad.
There you go. And so we like to think about kids as a really like useful resource when we're telling stories. But they can also be challenging. And I have twins who are 5.5 years old. I feel like I'm constantly trying to interview them. I'm already feeling that vibe of like, I ask them how their day was and they don't want to tell me. They're like, yeah, whatever, it's fun. Like Tess I hate Tess. She's being mean to me today, whatever. Like, I feel like they're teenagers already in a weird way. but I was wondering, I interviewed them at the dinner table briefly the other night and asked them their favorite dessert and their favorite animal. And I wondered if you would listen and tell me how I did.
It would be an honor to get to see this. Are you in the video?
It's not a video, so it's audio only.
Oh.
And so in this clip, I asked their favorite animal. What about your favorite kind of animal?
Mine is the Draco lizard.
The what?
The Draco lizard is a lizard that it can pull out some of its skin of its body, and it can jump from it can climb out, can jump from one tree and glide through the air, and it has kind of wings. Its wings can go out of its body like wings, and it can glide to the next tree.
That's really good. What about yours, Audrey? Do you have a favorite animal? Real or pretend? Doesn't matter.
Okay. This is not a pretend, but it's a unicorn.
What kind of unicorn?
A rainbow unicorn.
Rainbow, obviously. Why do you love rainbow unicorns so much?
Because they have magical horns, and their hooves are cold sometimes, and their mane.
What would you name your unicorn if you had a unicorn?
Sparkle or Petunia.
Sparkle Petunia or Sparkle or Petunia?
Sparkle or Petunia.
Wow. What about you? What would you name your Draco lizard, Brock?
Zippy.
All right. Thanks for talking to me at dinner time, guys. Appreciate it.
Bye. Bye.
So
That was fantastic.
I did okay? All right. Great. Sorry, go ahead. No, tell me, what were you going to say? Go ahead.
I was just saying, like, I think recess therapy's biggest competition is just not you.
Okay, good.
But our parents
Yes,
who have unbridled access to kids at their most comfortable.
that's true. Yeah.
So
that's
I'd say
fair.
that was wonderful. What were you going to say? Sorry.
I was just going to say, like, I think again, like, I guess, like, well, let me put it this way. So what are your rules of thumb? What have you come to as you interview kids over and over that you kind of realize? Because for me, it seems like they're very real. They're very straightforward. They also, like, I loved the video that we just played where the kid, I think it was the kid who said that they really liked love.
Just walks.
Just walks away. So, like, it's like a mic drop, and they're like, I'm done here. But what are your rules of thumb for, like, how you interact with them and how you ask them questions?
I'd say, like, I mean, I'm kind of lucky because, like, I don't need anything. Like, I need them to be having fun. Like, I don't really have an agenda outside of, like, a good talk.
Yep.
But, like, whenever I go into an interview, I'm like, I feel like I'm kind of mining, like, and carefully looking for, like, the first thing that they're really excited about. And then, like, my one rule is I just, like, really try to follow that. I find that whenever, like, I try to bring it back to the thing I was talking about before, or, like, I just try to really hone in on whatever they're enjoying and just ask as much, like, until that is done, and then move on to the next thing. Because I don't feel like often kids get that. And I think that's why, like, when they meet a man out and around who just is like, tell me everything, they're really excited to do it. Because, like, I don't think that's, so yeah, I think that's one, just, like, really being interested in what they're interested in. And then I think, like I try to challenge kids by, like, not letting them, like, go kid mode. Like, I don't like when they're like, I don't know, or, you know, I really, like, I'm like, no, we're going to talk and we're going to be at the same level right now. And I think that's kind of scary and exciting sometimes for kids. 'Cause, like, I'm not letting them off the hook. I'm making them engage. Yeah.
I love those. We had a question from the audience about, like, you see, someone said you seem really good at getting on their mental wavelength, which you're talking about here, and it can be challenging sometimes to get stuff out of them, like you're describing. So what are some ways that you kind of like keep them bringing stuff to you as you're talking with them?
Well, I feel like this. Can I describe like how we do a shoot? Because I think that kind of like ties into it. So there's 3 of us, 1, 2, Julia, and we like walk around an area or something, and like something we learned really early on was like not to just go up to the kids who we like thought would give like a good interview. Mm-hmm. Like I think early on we were like, oh, they're like talking a lot to their like dad. Like I bet they're gonna really want to talk to us. Because very quickly we realized that like the kids who are labeled shy or something, they're sitting on something awesome.
Right, totally, totally. He never talks, and then they come out with something incredible. Yeah.
Parents are always telling us that their kids don't talk or their kids are shy or like, and they never are.
Yeah.
Or at least, eventually they're not.
Yeah.
So like we always cast really like anyone who walks by, we ask. And then Charlotte will talk to the parents. Julia will set up the shot, and I'll just be like, oh, how's your day going? Like, what'd you eat for breakfast? Like, I just like immediately start the conversation.
What'd you eat for breakfast is a big public radio one too.
Oh, really?
It's like what we ask at the beginning of like almost every interview. I had a producer once
joking?
I'm dead serious. I had a producer draw all of the answers of like the last 40 interviewees we had. So yeah, that's a good one.
It's a really good starting question because most people
had breakfast. Yeah.
And if not, there's a conversation to be had.
Yeah.
But so I immediately just start talking. Like I find that like creating instead of being like, all right, can you sit here? Wait 1 second. So like, what, can you check levels? Like just like not even talking about that, thinking about that. Like, hi, nice to meet you. We're going to chat. And your parents are right here and everything's cool. And this is what we're talking about. And we jump right into it. And I think immediately in these early questions, like before we even start to bring up a topic or something, we're really just like figuring out what this kid is interested in, like what they're excited about. And then I don't know, I just play and hang. Like it's not something I think about. It's very intuitive to me. I've always worked with kids and hung out with kids. I was one. So yeah, I don't know. What was the question?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know. We just like,
we just did what you do.
Yeah, we just jump into it, and we don't like, we try not to be, we're like very professional and very buttoned up, but the kids don't have to think about it. Yeah. Is like the short answer.
The New York Times piece about you that I read described you as, so it had a quote in it describing you as the mayor of everything when you were younger.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you feel
the Times did call me that? No, my mom called me that.
And can you connect with that description? Like access like why that's true for you and to how that connects to the work that you do?
Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, I would like talk to everybody. I was very encouraged to talk to everybody. I come from a very big family. Mm-hmm. I have 3 moms and 2 dads, and I grew up in Brooklyn, and we would just chat with everybody.
Yeah.
And strangers became friends very quickly, in a safe way. And I feel like my parents really encouraged me to like do it all, which I'm very fortunate, is a privilege, and I think was just really amazing. And I think it made me not feel afraid of the world. I've been going through, my mom digitized all of our family videos. So I was recently watching a lot of footage of me as a kid. And I think, I don't know if mayors act the way that I did, but I was
surely some of them probably do.
Yeah. That I was really talky and pokey. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Tell me more about the makeup of your family growing up.
So I'll just quickly explain it. I had 2 moms. They wanted a baby. They asked their friend, my dad, his partner, his husband, my other dad, to be the sperm donor to both my moms. My moms broke up when I was 2, met other women, and they all raised us.
That's
in a
amazing.
No, in separate apartments
That's
within
awesome.
a mile from each other. Yeah, it was a really wild way to grow up. It was really cool. And in that, I just was always talking to adults, and I think I didn't have like parents in like mom dad way.
Yes.
I had a lot of adults that would just talk to me kind of the way that I try to talk to kids.
I live in a co-housing community. We were talking
heard.
about this before we came on stage, and I have the same experience in terms of like looking at my kids, because my kids, I live in this sort of community that's all connected, via walkways, and it's an intentional community in central Massachusetts, and my kids really benefit from this idea that like there's not like a tiny family unit and everything else is stranger, right? Like you have this larger orbit of adults who are interacting with you and taking care of you too, and like looking out for you. And that seems to have a really positive impact on my kids. And it sounds like the same is true of you and the family you grew up in.
It takes a village, but doesn't usually be a village.
That's right. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. What's your favorite piece of advice that you've gotten from a kid? This is also from the audience.
Oh, let me think for one second.
Snitches get stitches.
Yeah,
or something.
snitches get stitches.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have favorite things that kids have said. I really like when kids say things funny. Like I was interviewing this little boy about the chocolate croissant he had for breakfast. Like I really like that. Like pizza pepperoni is a favorite one. I'm trying to think of advice. Oh, I know.
It took me a second. Now I get it. Yeah.
This is maybe not specific advice, but this is like a piece of information that like we definitely talked a lot about in school, and then I definitely experienced that out in the world, which was just like kids really let their emotions go through them. Like it's like us adults are like, oh, this isn't the time to throw a fit. And then then it's never the time. And then you like feel bad. Whereas like kids feel bad, act the way they feel, and then kind of let that feeling go. I don't know if I do that at all, but it's something I aspire to do, which is really like live in your emotions and not like bottle them up. Yeah. It's aspirational.
It's amazing how adults, stuff just gets so complicated, and kids
so
are
quick.
Yeah, kids just, they tell it like it is. It's amazing.
So, guys, that made me think of something that like we talk about sometimes is like the idea for the show was I'm gonna go talk to kids about stuff that like I'm dealing with. So like the first episodes are like, it was happiness, growing up, anger, climate change. And then like money, love, like those are early ones. And then I like hit a wall where I was like, well, I can't talk to kids about that. Like I can't talk to kids about that feeling. Like that's too complicated. And that's been like a big thing where like you can't talk to kids about everything. This is not appropriate talking about everything. But there are these like tools that kids are clearly using. These like things that adults clearly lose, like the ability to intake information without severe bias or like empathy. That I feel like I can apply to the things.
I remember the first time one of my kids told me that I hurt his feelings and made him sad, my son, and it was like flooring and crushing and also like amazing, because I was like, wow, you had no problem saying that to me. And that was, I don't know, sometimes that stuff is really powerful. I want to play another clip. This is This is a gem from Recess Therapy, including a young boy who's really interested in komodo dragons. Yeah. So let's take a look at that.
I really like komodo dragons. They can eat people, which is so special. I never ever saw an animal eat a people before.
Do you want to see an animal eat a people?
Actually, definitely, yeah.
Why?
Because it's like, I never seen an animal eat a person.
But you want to.
Yeah,
What do you think it would be like?
weird. Basically.
Basically. Welcome to Recess Therapy. We're back with Dylan. We're going to talk about Komodo dragons, Panija, and all the animals, right?
Right.
Do you want to say anything for the intro?
Welcome to Recess Therapy.
That's great. Just one thing that makes me think of is like, no one ever comments this, but kids are always like looking kind of like off to the side. And I think it really looks like they're reading off a teleprompter. That's like how it looks to me. I've never seen an animal eat a people before. Oh, Dylan.
He's amazing to me because he seems like, do you ever get that weird vibe where you're like, you can see him as an adult in a
Yeah.
weird way? Do you get that?
I get that with everybody.
Really?
I can see what you're going to look like. No, like I know like the kind of guy he's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is,
He's
I don't know.
good.
There's something amazing about that. There's like, the personality is constant in some ways, right?
We met him really, really early into filming Recess Therapy. We were filming without a permit somewhere where there were animals.
It's been known to happen.
Sure. And we met him, and he was like with his dad, and we were like around the things he loved the most. And animals are easy topic, as you've seen.
Yes.
Trying to get
Yeah, clearly.
in fact, I think it's a topic that I tend to avoid now because it feels.
Too easy.
We've heard what they think
Yeah.
about animals. They like them.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
But no, he's a sweetheart. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
You've heard what they think.
what's the biggest, like, we watched some of the bloopers in the beginning, but what's the biggest, like, sort of filming or content fail you've ever had? Like, where you go out and try to do something and you're like, that did not go well.
I was just telling when we were doing the mic check, I was just something with Dylan that just went so wrong.
You tried to feed a person to an animal.
we got invited to go to a Nets game. And it was like a thing where like you can't say no, like thank you Nets, that was very kind of you. I don't know anything about basketball.
That's the sport. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sport. And Dylan didn't know anything about basketball. And we went and like the subtext was like, you should make a video while you're there. And we did, and like it was so loud, like it was like whistles blowing, like blasting music. And I'm like asking him questions about something neither of us know about, and you like can't hear either of us. And
Yeah.
and I look at Julia and I go, this feels really bad. I feel like we should stop. Like it just did, like it wasn't working, and then we all left.
Fair.
There have been a couple like things like that where just the like setting is so loud.
Yeah.
That you like. One that worked that was just unpleasant was Comic-Con.
Go on.
Oh, it was just so unpleasant. Like Comic-Con's probably fun. Probably. But when
Some
you're like,
people must have
yeah,
fun,
I'm sure. I'm sure. But when you're like there trying to get like vie for someone's attention, and there's so many people dressed funny, I was dressed funny. I was dressed as the Cat in the Hat, which is not a comic book character.
No, technically no. Yeah.
But yeah, things like that. Nothing ever bad has happened.
Yeah. I think you were telling me about a time
Confidently.
that maybe is the opposite, where there was something like super crazy and it kind of worked for you? You were on, it was a music festival maybe? Like you were on
Oh,
stage?
yeah,
with,
yeah. We got hit up last year and they were like, you should do recess therapy live. And I was like, yeah, that would be so cool.
Duh.
And then I like forgot about it and they were like, all right, well, here's the information. It's at this music festival in Toronto. It's this weekend. And I was like, great. And then we like got there and I hadn't like planned anything. Like every day leading up, I was like, I'm gonna come up with something. But like it's all improv. Like it's you don't like I don't know what it's gonna be kids who I'm just meeting there. Like it was so many variables that I just couldn't comprehend. So we're like there and it's like and we're like a headlining thing at a only music festival. Like we're the only non-musical act at a festival.
So like half the people at the festival were like, recess therapy, I've never heard of that band.
Let me look them up on Spotify.
Yeah.
And so we like got and we're like having breakfast and I'm like, we really need to come up with like something has to happen. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna come out in a blindfold and act like I'm too nervous to do the show, so I'm just gonna not look, was my idea. Anyway, we like get there and there's like a lot of people, there's a lot of adults, there's a lot of kids, we're like on a stage and we really had nothing. And it went really well. And we haven't done it again and I want to, but we did this like 30-minute live interview show and there were like 50 kids on stage. Like there were so many, and I kept saying help. But yeah, it was really, really entertaining at different levels for different types of people. Watching a young man in distress, very funny. Aspirational for kids to see
That's right.
the power they can wield over a single young man.
Speaking of aspirations, where do so you're like I said, I think Steven said you're the host of a hit web series, which like I think that's great. I've been watching the show Party Down recently.
It's back.
It's back, and there's a lot of jokes at the expense of the content creator who's like doing it, making video on the web. How do you feel about this medium? Like, do you have ambitions for different mediums? How do you think about recess therapy going forward?
Yeah, I mean, social media is the worst and the best. Like it really contains multitudes. No,
Perfect
I'm
answer.
more to say.
Perfect answer. All
No,
right,
it's
moving
like
on.
it's a hard thing to do. I think it like has been this great leveler in a lot of ways. Like it's really opened up the door to an industry. Like there aren't like Nepo baby Instagram people. Like you kind of make something and it works or it doesn't.
Yes.
And in that sense, I think it's really amazing. I definitely, have aspirations of recess therapy living beyond. That's all I'll say about that.
Okay. All right. No
Things
news
maybe
to
in the
break
work works. I have a lot of hopes and dreams for the show. I really want to like it's so limiting in a lot of ways. Like what 3 people can do with the camera I've had for many years. There's a lot of places I want to take the show, and I want to do a lot of other stuff. Like I really feel like there's this genre that doesn't really have a lot of play in it, which is like positive on the street interview. Like it's always mean or like, and it's so funny. Like Billy on the Street's so funny, Nathan Fielder's so funny, ha ha ha. But like it's whenever I was watching it, it would leave me wanting more. I want to see like people go on the street and have so much fun with each other and like make a quick community and like see what that begets. Because I think it's so much more additive. But yeah, recess therapy is like my first thing and it's done so wonderfully and I'm so proud of it. And I have dreams of doing more. Yeah.
Cool. So we're in a we also in our first check-in talked a little bit about this moment that we're in where there's like a lot of talk right now about like keeping kids safe from drag queen story time, and protecting our children from groomers, and a lot of this stuff that, I guess maybe I'll just leave it there. I feel like that we're in this interesting moment, at least in sort of the news that I am reading about, like how we as adults are processing how to protect kids and what that means. And I just wonder what you think about that conversation, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like so pro having conversations about identity with children, like from jump. Like, I grew up in a queer family where conversations about like identity, all identities, just because, my parents were, part of a marginalized community, like those conversations were always being had. And I'm getting nervous because my mom just walked into the room during the more serious portion.
Mom.
Hi, Mom. But yeah, like we were always having conversations about queerness and gender and sexuality from a very young age. These are things that kids are already thinking about and wondering about and questioning. I think it is necessary to give them as much safe, age-appropriate information as possible.
Yeah.
Like I've done multiple episodes at New York City Pride with kids, and they're all talking about it and thinking about it, and they have fantastic and beautiful things to say. And it is, just very heartbreaking and horrible that people are trying to limit those conversations and limit that knowledge, because that's how bad things happen, from ignorance and, lack of respect and information.
That was a very good answer. Hear, hear. You have one video that I feel like has sort of broken the stratosphere. And I don't know, I should know this, but I don't know sort of where, again, in your sort of list of videos this popped. So I'm interested to hear about the impact of the video. But I think we should also watch the video, which involves corn.
If you haven't seen it, it's really funny. So this little boy,
For me, I really like corn.
what do you like about corn?
Ever since I was told that corn was real, it tasted good.
Did you think corn wasn't real?
But when I tried it with butter, everything changed. I love corn. Corn.
Do you think everyone should be eating corn?
No, not everyone has to like it to be the best.
Yeah.
Everyone just has to try it. Have a bite.
What else are your favorite things?
I play a variety of games. Hide and seek, tag, Neville Lava Monster. Yeah, mostly corn. Then look at this then. I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. It's corn. Look at this.
It's corn!
Because corn is awesome.
Can you describe corn to someone who's never tasted it before?
A big lump with knobs. It has the juice. It's the part that mostly makes me like the cone.
How much do you think corn should cost?
$1. I hope you will have a Corntastic day.
A corntastic day?
What? It's just a pun about cone. If anyone loves corn, if you come to me, I can tell you all about it.
Do you like corn?
No.
Have you ever had corn before?
No.
So good.
I always forget that there's the other little girl in the video. No, I did not expect that video to break the internet. No, I did not.
What? Yeah. Do you
Yeah, I
mind
can give
just
the
talking?
rundown of that.
Yeah. Talk about how, like, when you realized it was starting to pop, and sort of like what that process was and what came from that. And yeah.
Sure. I want to take a vacation because I was doing this a lot. And I was like, gotta get in one more interview.
Oh no.
Before the vacation hits.
Oh no. Sorry.
And then we went, and I went in with no topic. I was just like, what do you like? Like, that was the topic. It was like things you like, which is very weak. And it got have you seen the Subaru kid video? That was the interview before this one. 2 amazing interviews. And we interviewed Tariq, and it was really cool. And then I gave it to our fantastic editor, Will. And then I left the country with Charlotte. And then I posted it at like a Wi-Fi cafe, and then I turned my phone off. And then I turned my phone back on. Is where the story gets interesting. And
Wait, sorry, where were you? Are you on the plane?
I was in Madrid.
Oh, you were in Madrid. Okay, got it.
And a lot of people had seen it. And then you know, it was just this crazy thing where like the Gregory brothers made the song, and it like people just like loved Tariq and his positivity and like his pure unbridled joy towards a very chill thing. Mm-hmm. I think people just really resonated with and felt like maybe they needed something like that. And it was a really overwhelming and crazy experience.
Yeah, what was the weirdest like reach out from somebody who like sort of like came out of the woodwork?
Oh, I don't know.
Like,
the weird thing was seeing like celebrities who like don't know who I am or who Tariq is, or like they were just like, oh, people are talking about this, and then like do their own version of it. Was just funny. Like Kevin Bacon did it and like sang all the words wrong. Like he didn't try hard, but he wanted to be involved, and I respect that. But no, it was really crazy. It was the most watched video of summer 2022. Oh, Charlotte's mouthing that Michelle Obama was a really big fan, and I got to do an interview with her because of this video, which was really special and fantastic. Yeah.
Does she like corn?
She does.
Turns out.
And
Go on.
I
No,
almost
go
called
on.
him Professor Obama, but
This seems like an
FBU.
appropriate sign of respect for Michelle
yeah,
Obama
and
as well.
And Professor
Yeah.
Obama also made a video with it, which was really cool. It was just like this thing where it was just like it was like a month where like was the thing, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a come down from that, or were you like fine?
It was like I snapped. It was just overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was just like a lot of it,
Yeah.
but I was fine.
You are fine. You're totally
Yeah,
fine.
I'm totally okay. But no, it was a really crazy experience. And then there was some welcomed quiet afterwards.
Fair.
Yeah, but he just won the Kids' Choice Award.
Woo, woo.
Yeah.
So we have a little surprise for the audience. And we, my WBUR colleague, Quiana, has 2 very adorable kids. And we thought it would be fun to see your work, your interviewing magic in real time.
No pressure.
So, yeah, please help me welcome to the stage Keelani and Isla.
Woo! Do you guys want to share a chair? No. Well, you have your own. Yo.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
You go to a lot of these things?
No. Yeah, sometimes.
You give a lot of talks at local radio stations. Yeah. Me too. How's your pizza?
Good. Amazing. Good.
What'd you have for breakfast this morning?
I went to school. I didn't have no breakfast since I went to sleep.
Well, my friends, we had the honor of meeting backstage from it. Do you remember? We met a little bit ago.
Yes.
Yeah, it was cool. And we didn't actually talk, but we pre-talked. And what?
Yes, we pre-talk.
Yes, we pre-talked. We prepared a talking point, but we didn't. I don't know. We haven't shared our answers. But do you want to say what the talking point was, or do you want me to introduce it? You can say it.
The talking point was kids, some kids want to be adults and some kids want to be still be kids, forever.
Yeah, we were talking about the pros and cons of being a child.
Adults want to be a kid, but kids want to be adult.
That's the issue, don't you think? There's a lot of pressure to be one or the other. So, my friend, what would you say? Do you want to start with worst or best?
Huh?
Worst part or best part?
Let's talk about the worst part.
That's the more fun. I feel like there's more fun to be had with the worst part. What is the worst part of being a child?
The worst part about being a child is being watched 24/7 per day. And
By Santa Claus or?
By parents.
Everyone. And when you go to school, there's still people watching you, and you're just gonna be watched until you turn into adult, and you get to have your own life and get to have your own rules.
What's your one moment of peace every day?
One moment of peace is sleep.
Yeah, that never changes. What is your worst thing?
When you break something and you get in trouble, but when your a parent breaks something, they don't get in trouble. It's not fair.
Do you think parents should get in trouble for breaking things?
Yes.
What's the punishment?
Mostly stand in the corner.
Stand in a corner. All right, we've heard about the worst. Ugh. Surveillance. Ugh. Punishment. Oy. What are the best parts of being a kid?
The best part is being a kid. You get to adventure stuff and you're really energized.
Oh, yeah.
The best part is being a kid. When you go to sleep really late, you still have energy in the morning. On the weekends, sometimes I wait until 3 in the morning and then go to sleep, and I still have energy in the morning. Run around the house.
Till 3 a.m.?
Yes.
No one should be awake that late.
I see a few lights out, like 1 or 3, 2 trucks were out, driving.
People are doing things, but they shouldn't be.
And one time, my sister was getting her hair done. She was fast asleep, and my mom was still doing her hair. That's her hair.
Is this true?
Yes.
How was that for you?
Not that bad. Okay. And one more thing. I woke up at 5 in the morning. 5:30 in the morning, where I've been trying to set an alarm for 5:30 in the morning, but I keep on waking up not the same exact time. I set an alarm in 5 in the morning so I can get dressed earlier so I don't have to do it more later. But I don't wake up at that time.
You know what they call people like you? A night owl. You ever heard that term?
Yes, I heard that term, and they call me sometimes they call people night owls when they set an alarm and they just don't wake up.
All right, I'm gonna ask you guys one more question, if that's all right. Yeah. That was good. All right. What are you most excited about for adulthood?
Driving a car.
That's pretty cool. What do you think it's gonna be like? And what kind of car?
Lamborghini.
Obviously.
Okay. Do you have a Lamborghini? Can I borrow it?
No, I want to get $1 million though.
That's a good idea. What about you?
In my adulthood, I really want to be like someone like the president. I want to go places, and I want to be able to live my life.
That sounds fantastic. What is your one more thing? Well, I'm going to ask my next question, which is there anything else you want to say?
I want to
be an astronaut.
Really? You too?
When I grow up, I really want to be an astronaut to be able to visit the Earth, like at different planets instead of staying on one.
Yeah, I totally think you guys should do that. Will you wear matching spacesuits?
Yes. I want to wear matching spacesuit with my sister because then no one will recognize us. I also want to be a doctor, and that's it.
Well, fantastic. Do
I
you have any questions?
I have a question for all three of you, which is, what are your tips on how to be and stay happy?
Yeah, how do you stay happy?
My way of staying happy is to like help my mom and stuff because she's the best person in the world. And the best way to be happy is buy a lot of stuff that you like.
The two flavors of
Can you follow that
the two
up?
philosophies. How do I be happy? Being in nature makes me very, very happy. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's A double plus.
Thank you.
In school, we had to do like when we had to use the bathroom, we had to do hand symbols.
Can't think of a better way to end than that. High
That's
five, girls.
amazing.
Thank you.
Keelani, Isla, and Julian, thank you. Oh, one more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes the symbols are this, and the water symbol is like this.
Well, thanks for teaching us that. And lovely to meet you both. Have a good night. High five. Good job. See, we got to do a live show. It's so
great.
fun.
Julian, thank you so much
thank
for
you.
spending this time.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah,
Thanks for
y'all
coming.
being
That was
here.
so fun.
Absolutely. I think I'm going to bring Steven back up. Yeah.
Woo!
That was
Thanks,
amazing.
y'all.
That was so fun.
Thank you all for coming out. Thank you to our virtual audiences, and thank you to Ben and Julian. Coming up next year at CitySpace, join us Tuesday, March 14th. Who's with me? It's Pie Day, right? And we're going to make it extra special with Pieometry author Lauren Coe as part of our curated cuisine series. There will be a demonstration of her beautiful pies and a sweet bite to eat afterward. Find tickets at wbur.org/events. Thanks again.
Thanks, y'all.
Oh, one more thing. Sorry. And the winner, how could I possibly forget about the swag? The winner, Anya Keller.
Yo!
All right, congrats.
Your hat and
Anya?
tote bag is at the front desk. Thank you, everyone.
Anya is an old friend of mine. I haven't seen in a long time.